All right, guys, today we're out here in my shop and we're doing a video that is something we've been asked thousands of times of what cameras do we use for filming our hunts. Now, one thing to know about Team Radical that really, I guess, kind of separates ourselves from a lot of other people out there is the majority of our content is self-filmed. And before we get started there today, I want to make mention that everything that I talk about here today and show you guys will be in the description of this episode. There will be links to everything that I discuss and talk about here today. And also I want to point out that we've got some new apparel on our website, teamradical.com/shop. The link will be down below. Guys, please check that out. We really appreciate your support. We've got some new colors. We've got some different styles of shirts, hoodies, hats, you name it, it's all on there, and we greatly appreciate your support. So with no further ado, we're gonna hop right into it. I wanna point out some pros and cons first. And I also want to tell you guys that I'm not going to be diving into all the specs of each and every single camera. This would be a much, much longer video. And you guys, YouTube is going to be your best friend to look up reviews on these cameras, to watch and see if it fits for you guys. These cameras that I'm all mentioning today are cameras that we have tried and it fits our style, fits our budget, etc. With the camcorders, they are much more user-friendly. Typically a lot more affordable. It's just a lot easier self-filming. You know, you have your link remote you can use. There's a lot less things that you have to do in that heat of the moment with a camcorder versus a DSLR. So that is definitely a huge pro to the camcorder. A big con is it does not have that look of a DSLR. You guys have seen a bunch of different hunting episodes where you can tell if it's filmed with a DSLR or a camcorder. Now, not taking away that the camcorder footage is bad, but it definitely isn't as crisp and clean as a DSLR would be. And the other big con to a camcorder is you can't take photos. You're not taking photos like you would be with a DSLR. A DSLR, you're going to be able to take those photos and video, even do it simultaneously. So that's some pros and cons to the camcorder up front. Now, when it comes to DSLR, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. With the DSLRs, you're going to get that crisp, nice footage. They're going to be a lot more expensive typically. And with the DSLR, you got to buy lenses. And with the lenses, a lot of times the lenses actually cost more than the body of the camera itself. So that's something you definitely need to keep in mind when it comes to purchasing a camera and what your budget is and what kind of look or what you're after. The first camera up is the Sony AX700. This is a camcorder that has been great for a lot of guys on the team. And here you can see some of the footage from the Sony AX700. It's a great little camera. It's very affordable, does a great job. So be sure to check that one out. Next one on the list is the Sony NX80. And here's some footage from the Sony NX80. This is a little higher priced camcorder, does a great job, great quality content. Again, use the link remote, but overall just a great camcorder. Next up is the Sony Z90. This is an affordable camcorder, does a great job. Also use the link remote, and here's some footage from the Sony Z90.
What a giant. Max and I have actually had about 3 years of history with this buck.
Next on the list is the Canon G50, and here's some footage from the Canon G50. Again, this is a great priced camcorder. Use the link remote. Again, all these camcorders that I'm mentioning here too, you can use the link remote, which is also down in the description. Check that out. Link remote just makes things a lot easier where you're not having to actually touch the camera. You can actually do it on a remote that's on your camera arm, which again, we're gonna get through all of this and show you guys a bunch of accessories that we use as well for self-filming our hunts, and hopefully it's gonna help you guys out. Now, when it comes to DSLRs, we're using two different brands, Sony and Canon. Today I'm filming this on a Canon R5, and soon I will have my Canon R5 Mark II, which I'm really excited about. But that has been a camera that has been awesome for us, is the Canon R5. The Canon R5, superb quality for both video and photos. And the lens I'm using here today, which is on the camera now, is the Sigma 14-24 art lens. Does a phenomenal job. It's more of your wide angle lens for your commentaries like this, or if you're in a tree stand for a POV. That's the lens that I use for my Canon R6 Mark II for getting that POV shot of myself while I'm in the tree stand. Another lens that is huge and vital is the Canon RF 70 to 200 millimeter lens. Now this lens is expensive, but it is a phenomenal lens, especially inside of the timber where it's a little thicker. You can't use too big of a telephoto. It's also great for photos, phenomenal for photos. It's very popular for photos. And last but not least is the Canon RF 100 to 500 millimeter lens. Now this lens is what I primarily use for my field edges. It's what I use for the long distance spots where I need to see a long ways, or I want to reach out there and get as close as possible to get video of that deer or whatever the animal may be. But it's also a phenomenal lens. It's not as good in low light as that 70 to 200 millimeter lens, but it still does a great job. And I highly, highly recommend that lens. Almost all of us are primarily using that for our primary hunt lens. Every once in a while, if it's thick enough, we'll use the 70 to 200, but the 100 to 500 is definitely our primary lens. And the other DSLR that we use is the Sony a7 IV. And the Sony a7 IV, we use the Sony 70 to 200 millimeter lens. We use the 200 to 600 millimeter lens, which is a great big old bazooka lens. The Tamron 28 to 200 millimeter lens, and the Sigma Art 24 to 70 millimeter lens. So all of those are for different scenarios. You know, that mid-range focal length, what I'm calling the 70 to 200, that's more for your timber hunts, close quarters. The wide angle lens is going to be your 24 to 70, or like I said on the Canon, the 14 to 24. And then your telephoto or your super long focal range is going to be your 100 to 500 millimeter on the Canon, the 200 to 600 millimeter on the Sony. Now when it comes to microphones, this is going to relate for camcorders and DSLRs. The best ones we have found have been for the shotgun mics. The Rode shotgun mics are phenomenal. And I'm going to have the links below so you guys can check those out. And for wireless mics, we highly recommend the DJI 2 mics and the Rode wireless mics, the newest version of the Rode wireless mics. Both are great mics. I personally like the DJI mics a little bit better than the Rode wireless mics, but you guys can check those out below. Again, both do a great job. And another cool part is you can actually record wireless mics and a shotgun mic at the same time. And here you can see this is a splitter. This splitter is going to allow one channel to be on one mic and another channel to be on another mic. So basically your left channel might be your wireless mic and your right channel might be your shotgun mic, or vice versa. That way you're getting the maximum best sound that you can. You're getting that shotgun mic sound where you can hear everything on the forest floor or deer crunching in the leaves. And the wireless mics, you're gonna be able to hear yourself talk, and it's a lot better in like the windier conditions. You're gonna want to have wireless mics like I'm wearing here today, which is a DJI 2 mic. We want to talk a little bit about action cameras. These are your POV cameras. And I typically use a Canon R6 Mark II DSLR for my POV, but I also use another one that almost all the guys on the team are using now, and that's the DJI Action 4 Cam. And that's this one here, and I'll make sure to put this accessory in the description as well. But this is the DJI Action 4. I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a GoPro or if you're thinking about buying a GoPro, I highly recommend you use it at the target range. And when I say use it at the target range, I'm talking about it being the actual target. GoPros are absolutely junk. For what we do, they are trash. You will have more problems with a GoPro than anything else that I talk about here today that we use. We have tried literally almost every single GoPro that's ever been made, and they have failed us at some point almost every single time. Trust me when I tell you, do not get a GoPro. They are trash. Get a DJI Action Cam. They have the 3 and the 4. Both of them are great. They are great when it gets cold, and that's where typically we found the biggest portion of when the GoPros messed up is when they got a little bit cold. When they got a little bit cold, everything went haywire. The DJI does a great job. It comes with the battery pack too. If you get the Adventure combo, I believe, where you get a 3-pack of batteries. They charge inside this pack. You can see the green lights on there. That means they're charged. Overall, just a phenomenal POV camera. Now, when it comes to camera arms, we have tried so many different ones out there, and Overall, our favorite pick is going to be from Fourth Arrow. Some of us are running the stiff arm, some of us are running the carbon one, some of them are running the 3 pivot points, some are running just the 1 pivot point, or the 2 pivot points, I'm sorry. Fourth Arrow makes the best camera arms that we have found so far. Yeah, they're expensive. Are they perfect? No. We've not found one that is absolutely perfect. And then on top of the camera arm, we have your fluid head. The fluid head is very important, whether you're running a camcorder or a DSLR, whether you're running a big lens or a small lens. The fluid head is very important. And the best ones we have found so far have been from Manfrotto and from Benro. Benro is the one that I personally use. I really like it. Does a great job. They have different sizes. They have the S2, S4, S6. The higher the number goes, the bigger the actual head is. So keep that in mind. Depending on what camera you decide to go with and what your weight is on that camera, a lot will dictate on which fluid head you should get. Highly recommend you guys, on your cameras that you do buy or lenses you buy, absolutely buy insurance on them. A lot of times different places you buy them through will have something, you know, a 2 or 3 year insurance policy that you can have on that camera or lens. Absolutely recommend getting it. It is very cheap insurance. I've actually had a camera and a lens ran over by a pickup truck. We've had people dropping them in the ocean before. The list goes on and on. It's worth getting the insurance. And last but not least, if you guys have any questions or concerns or anything you just want to know more about, please leave a comment down below. I'd be glad to help you guys out and steer you guys in the right direction. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and good luck this fall.